the Python, right? The Python session actually. Session 1, right? Because last session, right, we had a Python introductory session, right? It's just an introduction to Python, right? So you remember, right, what we did, like, though it's been very long back, right? 15 days back, we had started this Python introduction, right? Like I basically explained about the Python compiler, right? So whenever we compile any program, whenever we have any Python program, right, or the code, and when we are trying to, like when we are trying to run the Python, right? Like for example, suppose I have some Python file or the Python code, right? And the Python code would be something like myfile.py. This is an extension. So whenever I want to run this program, you know that I have to run the command of the Python myfile.py. So this is what you have to do it, right? If you run this program with the Python interpreter, what Python intern will do, it will try to compile, right? It will compile the code. So it will compile the code and it will compile and it will try to make this myfile.py compile into bytecode, right? That's what. Later, whatever you have this bytecode, that bytecode will be internally executed by one of the the component of the Python is PVM, right? Python virtual machine, right? So PVM is by default it comes no within the Python itself. So when you install the Python, PVM by default will come along with that. You need not to separately install any PVM, right? Python virtual machine, like PVM, like how we have in a Java, right? JVM, right? So similarly in the Python, we have PVM. So PVM is the one which will finally execute this bytecode into the machine understandable language or into binaries, right? That's what this is what we had looked into the architecture, right, in the last session. And also we had seen some small one example of how to execute the Python program, right? So now today what we're going to learn, like basically we have to start learning about the Python variables. So our first session starts from the Python variable itself. Now, before doing that, actually, let me do one thing. Let me re-execute or show you one more time how to execute a Python program, right? So, and we'll proceed with the Python variables. Now, before that, what you have to do is that in your machine, you have to get installed. You have to get installed two things. One is nothing but you need to get installed latest Python, that is Python 3.7 version you need to get installed actually. Okay, so this is one thing. And the second is that like you need to get a pip installed in your machine. This is also required. Why is it required? I will tell you later. But as of now, you have to just like you have to make sure that in your machine Python and pip, these two should be installed in your machine. Okay. Now, if I open the command line cmd and if I execute a command by name Python -fn version, you could see that Python is installed in my machine. See 3.70 is installed. Similarly, pip is also installed. How to check the pip? You can say pip-fn version. So this is also installed actually. So you can get installed even the pip also. Pip will install once the Python is installed. So once the Python is installed, there's one step is there. You have to just run one step to make sure that the pip will get installed. Okay. So these two are installed now, right? Now what I will do, right? I will write a small program, okay? Or else what we will do, we will take up the same example of what we did the last session, right? So what I did, I just try to check the Python calculator code, right? Something, right? I went to this Geeks for Geeks, right? This is a good site. You can go visit this site. And here, if you open it, right, here you have the program. You can either choose this program or either you can even choose this program, this Python code, right? So I'll copy this. So what I will do, right? First, let me create one folder actually. Python programs, something, Python programs. Okay, so I'll create all the program files here in this folder itself. Okay, so what I will do, I'll just open a notepad. I'll just paste that program. So this is the calculator, simple calculator program, and I'll try to save inside that this one, right? So what I will do, I'll just say calculator.py, correct? And I'll save this file actually. So this is saved, right? Here you could see that you are having that Python or calculator.py is there, right? So now what I will do, I'll go to the desktop. So this is in desktop, right? So what I will do, I'll go to the desktop, or else let me copy this, do a CD to this path. So basically, I'm into this path now. If I execute dir, you could see that I'm having the code calculator.py, right? Now how to execute this program or how to execute this Python code. So you know very well that you have to run a command Python space, specify your Python script file. If you enter, you could see that it is executing it, right? So when I say 1, I'm basically I need to add just 2 numbers. See, you're able to get the output, right? So in this way, you will be executing the Python code. You have to say Python space, specify that script name, right? Now here, as I said, right, when you're executing the Python program with the help of Python, what Python is internally doing, Python is internally converting this calculator.py into the bytecode. And finally, that bytecode will be executed by the PVM. This bytecode will be finally executed by the PVM, so that whatever the bytecode is there, it will get executed, it will get converted to the binaries, and it will get executed by your Python interpreter. That's what internet happens. But if you execute with the Python and the calculator.py, it is directly executing it. It is not showing that those bytecode created and all, because it is hiding all those details at the back end, right? So it will directly execute this program. So you will feel as if like it is interpreting. It is not actually compiling. But as I said, like, it is compiling and then it is executing. That's all. Suppose you say that, Rajesh, I want to see even the compiled one. I want to see the bytecode one, right? What you have to do? You have to just say Python -m. This also we had checked in the last session, right? Py underscore, if I'm not wrong, py underscore compile calculator.py. If you run this command with the -m option, py underscore compile, you could see that it has created a directory by name py underscore cache. If you just double click on this, open it, get into inside, you could see that it is having a calculator.py.c python -37. See, this is the bytecode version. This is the bytecode. And if you see here, if you open this, see, it is in a bytecode order. Correct? So it is in a bytecode order. So whenever you want to get the bytecode, you have to always run a command Python -m space Python with the -m option, py underscore compile, and specify your program name. So you'll get this way. Correct? So now you can still execute this bytecode also. Like for example, if I do dir, you could see that it is having a underscore py cache. Okay, I'll just do a cd to underscore py cache. See, you have this file calculator.c python, right? See, you could see that at the end it is having a .pyc. It means that this is the bytecode actually. You can execute it like this also. Even this file also you can execute it. Calculator.c python -37.pyc. You can execute this. See, it will work. Like this. Okay, even you can execute the bytecode also. So Python will even execute the bytecode file also. Okay. Now the thing is that actually, okay, this is all fine. Okay, you could say now you say that our Python is not interpreted. It is a compiled and interpreted language, like that you can say, right? It's a programming language itself because it is compiled one. It is compiling internally, right? Now you could see that actually you might ask that, okay, Rajesh, like when we are, okay, fine. When I'm giving the same program to the customer side or to the customer, do you think that we'll give this program like this way .py file to him or to the customers, right? We don't give like that, right? We have to give in form of some executable, right? So something like you have to give in the form of .exe. Like suppose if any Microsoft Word or Microsoft document is Word is given to you, how you install it? An exe will be given to you, right? Or else some installer, MS installer will be given to you, right? Or else in Linux or in Unix, some kind of an RPM will be given to you, so that you will take that RPM and install it. So basically, whenever you are given an application, the application will be built in a package format and it is given to you, right? So similarly, what happened, right? Whenever you want to build any program or the package program, right? So how you can give to the customer side actually? You have to give to the customer end by packaging actually. So let me do one thing. Let me remove this directory. Okay, I have this code now. So what I have to do now, like to create a package. So to create the package, what I have to do that I have to run a pip install py installer. First, you have to install this py installer by using the pip command. Pip install py installer. See, it is installing some package and all, but that's fine. So you need not to worry all these things. I'm just telling you in a very like high level what things will happen. Suppose you want to give the same program to the customer end. So py installer you have installed it, fine. Now what you will do next? You will execute the command. Let me clear the screen. You have this calculator.py. Yes, py installer. Then you will say calculator.py. See, now it is building the package. Now you could see that some other directories are got created here. See, it is creating. So it has created a spec file and then it has created some two directories, right? See, it is building. Now it has completed task. Now you could see that if you go here over here, dist actually. See, you go to inside this calculator. Now you could see that it has created a .exe. See, this is calculator.exe file. See, this is an exe file. You can run this exe file. You will be giving to the customer side. See, if you double click on it, it will try to run your program like this. See, it will run your program. Okay, guys. So in this way, what happened, right? You will be giving how you are building everything, all these things with the help of a py installer. That's what you need to always install the pip also. That's what I said, that pip has to be installed. You could see that, you can see the command pip. So what is the command you have to do that? First, you need to get installed both Python and pip. Later, what happened? You have to say that pip install py installer, like that you have to say. After that, you have to just say py installer and specify your Python code like this. So what this will do, this basically will create a exe file, right? So this is what you will be giving to the customers, right? Customer, you will be giving the exe file. So now we could see that basically there are many other files are there, right?
Hey Rajesh,
Libraries are there.
sorry to interrupt. Can you come again those two commands?
Yes, that's what. Now, as of now, don't worry, sir. Don't worry now, because I'm just showing you the very beginning session. I'm just telling
Mm-hmm.
you like how you can build a package actually. Okay, Python.
Okay.
So don't
Mm-hmm.
worry now. You, as I said, right, you have to get installed both these things actually,
Sure.
pip and Python.
So this
Whenever the
I think
Python is installed.
second command we build is used to build
Yes,
package, right? So the
yes.
first command I missed, like what we are doing.
First command is py installer actually. This is the main model which is used to build the package actually.
Oh,
Means
okay.
whatever you want to create an exe, right? That will happen only with the py installer. So py install is a model actually. Okay. So that if you
Mm-hmm.
want to install, you have to use the pip command. Pip install py installer. Then use the same command and specify the calculator.py to build it like this. Whatever you got the builds, right? It happened because of this py installer.
Okay, okay.
So
Sure,
that's what I
go
said.
ahead.
Just a first class, sir. Don't worry about now.
Mm-hmm.
You'll come across with
Sure,
many
go
things.
ahead. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So now what happened, right? It has created many folders and all like this. You might ask, what is this? These are all the libraries or base libraries and all. It has took the libraries to build everything. So you need not to worry all these things as of now. All right. It has first created a spec file, sir. With the help of a spec file, it has created these two directories actually. And in the dist actually, in the dist is a place, distribution is a place where you have this that program exe file you have. And you could see there are so many other files are there, sir. These other files, no, this the customer doesn't need all these things. Why he want to need a Python DLL file, this file and all? He doesn't need it, right? So what you will do, basically, you will say that Rajesh, I don't want these things at all. Okay, let me do one thing. I don't want only one file, sir. I don't want all these files at all. I want only this exe file. So what to do? You will say that remove everything, all these things. Spec also remove it. Now you could see that I am running the command again, py installer. But at this time, I'll just give -fn one file and then give the calculator.py. See? It'll build it. It'll build an exe, but it will not build all the files will not be provided by the py installer. Only one file will be there, that is exe file. See, now you could go to the disk. Now go to the, see, only one file is there. See, other files and all have gone, right? So it has not created any other files. So you don't need all those DLLs files and all whatever is required, right? Because you are not giving those files to the customer. You will only give this exe file to the customer, right? So that's the reason with the help of a -one file option, you will be able to build only the exe file. So what you are doing here, py installer -one file and specify your Python script. There are many options are there, sir. Like for example, VI installer -fn no console is there. I will tell you all these things. What is this no console? There are many options are there. While building it up, this we will see in a very later stage actually, not now. Okay, so you have executed program. So is it clear, sir? Yes. Okay.
Yes, Rajesh,
So
go ahead. Mm-hmm.
okay, now so we just started now how to build it, and we just saw how to install. Sorry, how to run a program actually, right? But here what happened, right? Whenever you want to learn the Python actually or any language, basically you need to first learn the programming constructed of that language. Like for example, whenever you're learning in a C language, you are learning a C language, right? You have to first always learn like what are the different data types provided by the C language, right? What are the different data types? Like there you see, right? Like we have an int, we have a float, we have a double, we have a long, right? These are the variables types, right? Variables, right? So that is the stepping stone of any language. Whenever you want to learn any language, you have to first learn the programming construct of first you have to learn about the variables actually. Variables, various data types and all. Those are the most important things. Similarly, whenever I want to learn about the Python actually, I need to learn first, I need to start with learning about what are variables, Python variables, how to use the Python variables, right? So this is what we will be learning today. So uh, this Python variable, right? It is a very big topic, sir. If I want to really explain you the complete thing about the Python variables, I might need 3 to 4 sessions actually. Means it requires minimum of some 3 to 4 hours of time is required. It's to explain you completely about the Python variables. But because we don't have that much time, I will squeeze it to 2 hours actually, or 1.5 hours. Okay, it's a very lengthy topic actually. If you go through any PDF on Python also, you could see that they explain very vastly. Why? Because right, that is a stepping stone, and the second is the second step. What is there is that actually there are many Python data types are there. There are around 14 different data types are there. We need to learn all those 14 data types and how to make use of that variable in our programming. Also, we have to learn that. That is a very, very, very important step. That is a very basic step of learning the Python variables, Python actually, through the variables actually. Now, you know very well that whenever we are, we want to pass any value to the program. Like for example, I want to make use of some value. Suppose I want to tell to the program that I want to use the value 10 like this. You cannot directly tell a value or 10 to a program, right? You can only tell a value, something like a 10 to a program with the help of a variables. So what we say that variable is something like it is like a label. Variable is something like a label that has some value, we say. Correct? Variable is a label that has some value, right? So whenever you want to pass any value to your program or whenever you want to make use of any value in the program, we should always define a variable actually. Correct. So, uh, so we need to learn like how exactly we'll be using the variables in the Python actually, right? Before learning this variable actually, I want to give a small introduction about how exactly the variables in turn work in the Python. because it is very important for us to understand even like how variables exactly internally in the Python it works actually, right? Now, for example, mm, suppose I define a variable a is equal to 10 in Python. You need to understand exactly how these variables are stored within the Python, how Python interprets or how Python actually reads this variable, right? And finally, whenever a user want to print this value of the variable, right, he would using some function, the print function, like print a, something like that he will print. So you can print the value like this. So whenever I want to print any variable value, I have to just use a print function. So this is one of the print function used in Python. We will see later what is this print function does everything. But right now you can understand like it is same thing like a printf statement what we have in C. So whenever you want to print anything, you can just say print and specify that variable name, right? So what I'm trying to tell that whenever you are representing any value with the help of a variable, something like a is equal to 10, how exactly the Python interprets this value or how it actually stores all these values within it actually. So what the Python will do that whenever a user is defining any variable, what happens that within a Python, within the system, you know that we have a RAM memory, right? This is basically a RAM memory, right? Within the RAM memory, what happened, right? There are two uh, memory regions are there. One is nothing but the stack, and other is nothing but your heap area. It is like this. This is nothing but your stack, and this area is nothing but heap memory. It is very important, guys. This we should know very well because all our understanding about everything about the variables, it all depend upon no understanding this stuff actually. How internally Python interprets any variable, right? Now, for example, a user will just define a variable a, and he will just assign a value, no, something like a 10. Now, how it happens, right? How exactly internally the Python will store the value? How Python will interpret this? Okay, or what does the Python does? What Python will do basically, Python will create an object in this heap area. It will first, suppose you define a is equal to 10. How it will happen that Python, what it will do first? First, it will try to create one object like this. It will create an object. Okay, so this we call it as an object actually. Okay, it will create an object, and in this object there are three sections are there. Three sections are there like this. So it means that the entire object is divided into three sections. Okay. So what is this first section? This first section is the place where it will store that value. So you have said that a is equal to 10. So the value 10 will be stored in this first section. So guys, this completely we call it as an object. Okay. We call this as an object, and this object in turn is divided into three parts actually. So the first part of the object is nothing but the place or the region where the value will be stored. Fine, okay. What about the second part? The second part is nothing but this is nothing but your object type. Object type. Object type or data type we say. So this second region or the second like partition, the second block will have an object type. What type of object is this? You're defining a is equal to 10, but what is this 10? This 10, it looks like an integer actually. Okay, it means that, so the Python will treat this 10 as an integer. Okay, so it means that the type of this variable, it could be an integer. So that type, it will maintain in this second block actually, object type. And the third, what it will maintain is that the third, it will maintain a reference count, RC we call it. So whenever any variable is defined in a Python, always for each and every variable, the Python is going to create an object like this. So let me repeat, whenever you are creating any variable, age would 10, something you can say. So what happened that it's going to create an object, and this object will have some value. What is that value? It is something like it will have some value, something unique value. That is something like if I take an example, suppose like one or else uh, 1008, some address, some value actually, 1008, 1008. This is something like a value for this entire object, or you can consider this as a reference actually. Okay, so you can consider this as a reference. So in this reference or in this address, it will have an object actually, and this object is having a three sections actually. One is nothing but the value. It means that whatever the data which you are storing, that data, right, will be stored in this first part. The second part is the object type or the data type, and third is a reference counter. So then what it will do whatever the variable you are defined A, that it will keep it here in this stack area A, like this. It will keep it in the stack area like this. Stack area, and this A will in turn have a reference to this value 1008, or it has a reference to this address. Now what happened that when a user has typed A is equal to 10 in the Python interpreter or in the Python inside the Python, right? So what happened that it will try to create this object. Fine. Now the user want to print this value. What you will do, you will just say print A like this. So what you are doing, you are trying to access this variable, but this variable has a reference to this address 1008, right? So it means that basically this variable has an address to that object. That address is not about 1008. So what it will do, it will try to fetch the first block. So whatever the first block value is that will get printed here in your console like this. Get printed like this in your console like this. Right now here what happened that, so these are the three blocks of your object, and this last one is a reference count. By default what happened, it will be having a value 1 like this. So what is this reference count, I will tell later. Okay, now somebody might have a doubt that what is this stack and what is this heap, Rajesh? We don't know anything about that. You might have a doubt. Some people have learned in your college days, or some people might have did some other programming and all. You might know what the heap and stack does, right? So heap and stack actually basically it is nothing but these are the data structures we say actually. So internally what happened, right? The Python, what it do, this is the whole RAM memory, right? In the RAM memory, it divides some of the RAM memory to two sections, stack and heap, right? In the heap is the region where it will keep an object. Stack is a region where it will keep the variable names, actually. Okay. Now, so let us do here, see. So let me clear the screen and let me just execute the Python. So if I execute Python enter, you have got inside the Python shell, right? If I say A is equal to 10, see, it has assigned the value, right? Now if I do a print of A, see, it has printed me the value, right? Now what happens that now you say, okay, fine, Rajesh, I got this point. Now again, now assume that I'm defining one more variable, something B is equal to 10. What will happen? You tell me. You will say that, Rajesh, okay, what happened, right? There is one more, no, one more object will get created like this. One more object will be created like this, right? So this is nothing but an object. You will say, this is the object. You will say like this, okay? This is object, and this object is nothing but this object will get created, and this object will have some value, something like you'll say 1009. I'll take next value, and this entire object is divided into three regions actually, right? Like this actually. The first will have the value like this. Obviously, we will be telling like this, right? And this will have a object type or the data type, right? And this will have this is nothing but RC, reference count. You will tell like this. No, guys, this will not happen like this actually. Now, what happened that here it doesn't happen like this. You might tell like this, it will happen, but it doesn't happen like this. What will happen that when you are defining one more variable B is equal to 10, what Python intern will do, it will try to search in the heap region, is there any object which is having this value 10? We'll try, there would be many objects. Oh, it has found that, oh, okay, there is one object which is actually having a value 10. Okay, what it will do, right? It will just create one variable like this. It will create a variable like this. The variable is B, right? And then this variable B, right? this variable B will have a reference to the same address like this 1008. So here what is happening that it will not create any new object. It is referring to the same object, whatever A is referring to, because right, A is also having the same value and B is also assigned the same value. Why to create one more object? It won't create it. So why they are doing like this? Because they are doing a memory optimization. Because of the memory optimization, because of the reusage of the same object again, right? They are doing it like this in case of Python. Even in many other languages also, like even in Java also, even in Go language also, it happens in the same way actually. Whereas if you know very well, in the C language, suppose you are having int A is equal to 10 and int B is equal to 10. Right? Separate regions will be assigned for both the variables. So this concept doesn't work in C or in C++. It doesn't work out there, right? So there what happened, for each and every variable, a different address would be assigned. Like for example, here in the C language, for this A is equal to 10, it will assign some value, address 15415.126 like this. Again, for the int B is equal to 10, it will assign some other different address like this actually. So each and every variable values will have a different address. Whereas here, it will be referring to the same object if the values are same actually. Same thing like that, I would say that, okay, now Rajesh, one more variable, something C is equal to 10 is there. What will happen? You tell me. So same thing, guys. What will happen that here also same thing. It will create one more variable C, and this variable C will have a reference to the same address like this. Like this. So, but now you could see that when A was defined, when the object was created, at that time the reference count was 1. When the B was assigned the same value, so what happened that the B variable was created, B had a reference to the same address. Now at that time what happened that it has incremented the value of the RC count from 1 to 2. Like this. Now what happened? C also you have created one more variable. C also have assigned to the same value 10. Now what happened? This reference count has been changed from 2 to 3 now. So a reference count will give the information about how many variables are accessing the same, like object address or the object. How many variables are accessing? So here, if the reference is 3, it means that there are 3 variables who are accessing the same object or who are accessing the same address like this. Okay. So now the question will come to your mind. Okay, fine. It is all fine, Rajesh. I understood what you're saying. Because of the memory optimization, they're happening like that. Now you say that, Rajesh, I will change the value from A10 to A11. What will happen now? So you change the value from 10 to 11. What will happen? So now what the Python will do now? Python will check for the object who is having the value 11 here in this heap area. It'll try to search every object. It found that there is no object which is having a value 11 here. What will do that? It will create one more object like this actually. It will create one more object. So now what will happen that again it will make into divide into 3 sections actually. So this will have the value 11 like this. This will be having a data type, very well now, data type, or right, and this will be having an RC count as 1, right? And now what happened, right? What it will do that it will try to remove this reference from here like this, it will remove it, and then what it will do that it will try to refer to like this actually. It will refer to like this. It means that this will be having an address of 1009, right? 1009, or else 1009, right? So now what happened that this is basically, so sorry, this will be like this. Now this value, variable A value, will be referring to this address now, 1009. Similarly, what happened? You will say that, Rajesh, now the same thing, I would change the B value from 10 to 11. So same thing would happen that now Python will check internally, is there any object which is having a value 11 now? Yes, it is there already. So what will happen that it will try to take this. First, it will remove this address. It will remove this pointer. It will remove this referring to this address, right? It'll remove it, and then it'll take this. It'll take this, and it'll point to this address now. Okay. Same thing. See what happened that tomorrow you are changing the value C to 11. Same thing will happen, sir. So what it'll do, it'll try to remove this, variable. It'll try to remove this address, and then what will happen that the C will now point to the same address like this. Okay. So now what happened that this reference count, now you know that it got incremented each and every time. First it was 1, now it become 2. Now 3 variables are now pointing to the same address. Now this RC will be 3 now. Here what happened that as soon as you are removing, the RC count was decreasing from 3 to 2, 2 to 1, like that it was. Now what happened, the RC count is become 0 now. Now it becomes 0. Now it has become 0. Correct? Now once it becomes, the reference count become a 0, what the Python will understand that this object is of no use actually, because it is unnecessary using the memory space. It is no use. So what happened that in turn, Python has something known as a Python garbage collector actually. So what the Python will do now, Python garbage collector, what the Python will do, Python in turn has this garbage collector actually. So what the Python will do, garbage collector will do, it will deallocate this object. It will release this object from the memory. You might have heard about the Java garbage collector, right? Java also does the same thing. Whenever any object reference is 0, it means that it is not used by any of the variables or the program. Automatically, it releases that memory. But whereas the C language, it is not like that. Suppose you have allocated some memory, you have to free the memory by yourself actually. That's what in C, if you remember, you use some functions, a malloc function, malloc or calloc or realloc. These are some of the functions used to allocate the memory actually. Allocate the memory. Now, whenever you don't want this memory to be used, right, the programmer has to free that memory. So this this functions, right, what will happen, right? It'll allocate a memory heap region, and it will return the first address of the first byte of the memory. Whenever you want to free it, always you have to pass that address for the free. So these are the functions we are using in C explicitly, and there are many functions that are related to C++ and many other languages are there. But here we are not doing all these things. Internally, Python itself is maintaining all those things. We are not allocating the memory, or we are not freeing the memory. So Python intern itself is doing. So the complexity, everything has been decreased in Python or in other language like Go language and all, right? We are not bothered about all those things. So what happened? The garbage collector will come to the picture where it will deallocate this complete object from the memory. Correct, guys? So to prove this, you said, Rajesh, theoretically you said, fine, I agree. Show me practically all these things. Okay, sir, no problem. What you will do that? We'll clear the screen. Okay, I will just define A is equal to 10. Okay. Now, if you want to print the value, we'll say print A. This we know very well. Now, if I want to check the address of this variable, right? So I use a function by name ID. There's a function by name ID. I'll be using, this is the intern Python function. So when I say ID and say A and enter, you could see that it's actually printing some address actually. So this is the address actually. It is same thing like whatever the object address, right? 1008 or 1009, right? The same thing is like this address, whatever it is. Now you'll say that, okay, Rajesh, I'll say B is equal to 10. Fine. If I do ID is ID of B, can you see? See, it's the same address 1461926288, right? Now, if I say C is equal to 10, see ID C, see, it has changed that address, right? So not sorry, it's the same address, right? So it means that all these variables are pointing to the same object reference address. It is pointing like this. Now you say that, Rajesh, now A is equal to A, B, C. Oh, okay, fine. All these variables are pointing to the same object. Fine. Now you'll say A is equal to 11. See? Now if you see address of A, ID of A, see, now the address has changed. See. Now you'll say that, okay, Rajesh, I will make even B to 11 also. Now check the address of B. See, it is, see, now it is pointed to one. Same thing, right? Now, whatever the latest A got, right? 146192634. Same thing even B also got. Similarly, C is equal to 11. See, ID of C. right? See, now it is referring. So now all this address has been changed now, right? Because you have changed the value. So this is how it internally it works. Correct? Is it clear, guys? Friends, are you clear with this concept? This is a very, very basic elementary. We should know all these things. Very, very basic. We have not started anything on variables, but we need to know about all these things. Okay, fine. Now, anyone having any doubt on heap and stack? Have you, because I will be covering all these things later. Don't worry. Heap and stack, what is it? We will have in one more session, I'll be explaining about, discuss about what exactly heap and stack does actually. But you have some basic knowledge, right? Whatever I said, right? You have understood, right? If anyone is having any doubt, let me know, friends. Okay, no, fine. Okay, so now we have 15 more minutes, so we will continue with this variables itself. Okay, now whenever you are defining any variables, actually, okay, there are some set of rules and regulations are there which you need to follow, or there are some restrictions are there which we need to follow whenever I am using or whenever I am defining any variables, right? Now, always, whenever you define any variables, you can have a variable with the range from A to Z. It means that even you can have a variable with a single character also, like A to Z actually, A to Z. Even you can have a variable with the uppercase also, capital A to Z, like that also possible. Okay. But here, if you are defining any variable A is equal to 10 and capital A is equal to 10, both are different actually. You could see that if I say A is equal to 10 and capital A is equal to lumen, both are different, I guess actually. Sorry, A is equal to single quote actually, lumen, like this. Both are different, guys. See, if I print A, it will print the value. If I say print, see, both are different. So lowercase, it is a case sensitive. Variables are case sensitive. Okay. So you can either have the variables with A to Z or capital A to small z. Okay. Capital A to capital Z or small a to small z. Any variable you can have. Okay. What are the other things? You can even have a string also as a variable. Like for example, I'll say ABC is equal to 20. You can have like this also. We can have something like a ABCD is equal to lumen, anything actually, Bangalore, anything. See, you can have like this. Even you can have any variable with having a like variable name. You are having with the alphanumeric, like for example, lumen uh, 123 is equal to 50 something. See here you are having a variable name, not only with the like with the string. You are having a combination of the string and the like numeric value also, right? You can have, right? But the thing is that you cannot have any variable which starts with the numeric. Like that, you cannot have like this 100 lumen is equal to 60. Like that, you cannot have. You cannot start any variable starting with the numerical value. So this is a syntax error. So Python will never allow you to make use of or create a variable which starts with the numeric character actually. Now, what happened that you cannot define any variable using any special character like star, hash, question mark. It is not. It will not allow you to create it actually. Okay. Only one special character which it will allow is a underscore actually. Like for example, if I say underscore something like for example underscore ABC anything actually underscore my var is equal to 100. See, it will allow only this underscore. See, echo not echo, sorry, print underscore my var, something like this. It will only allow the underscore, not. So what will you say? Except underscore Python will never allow any other special character for defining the variable. Like star, comma hash, comma dollar, star, hash. Like this, you cannot define any variable with the special characters. Like this, you cannot make use of this like this. Only underscore. And you can have a number of underscore also. Like for example, you can say underscore, 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 3 underscore lumen is equal to something like this. See, it is possible. Print underscore, underscore, underscore lumen. See, it will work. Only underscores are allowed. That's all it is. Even after also, like Rajesh underscore, 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 underscore is equal to 100. See, we can define like this. It will allow. Except underscore, nothing is allowed. No other special character is allowed actually. Okay. Now that is one thing. That's a first rule, that you can have a combination of the, like alphanumerical as a variable name. Okay. And you can have a single digit or a single character or the, sorry, uppercase or the lowercase. But make sure that whenever you're defining any variable, the variable should never start with a numeric. It can have a numeric, but the first should always start with either with underscore or with some alphabetical character only. The variable name should start actually. Okay. And what are the other things? What are the other key points actually? So in Python, there are many, like how I can say, keywords or functions are available, are there. So I cannot make use of those functions name or the variable name, sorry, or the function names for defining a variable. You cannot make use of those things. Okay, so there are many functions are there. So what are the functions and all I will discuss later. Don't worry. Okay, so like in Python, basically, right, there are many functions are there. So like for example, if I want to tell you, like in basically in Python, right, you have a three different types of functions are there. Okay, so what are those functions actually? I'll just give an introduction. I will have a separate section on this. Okay, I have a function. Basically, there are many things, functions are there, but in Python, what happened, right? Basically, the functions are classified into three categories actually. One is a built-in function actually, like this, built-in functions, and one is a what is it? Module level function. The third is a user-defined, user-defined functions. So basically, the functions are categorized to three categories like this actually: module level and user-defined. Like this. So built-in functions basically. So what happened, right? There are many built-in functions are there in Python actually. Like for example, suppose like something like min function, max function, like that many are there. Like that there are around 69 functions are there, sir. So we will be using all those functions while learning the Python actually. Okay. So if you go to the Google and if you say that Python built-in functions, yeah, it's coming. Okay. So you can go to any article, but I would suggest you to go through always the docs.python.org. This is the official document. You have to go through it actually. See, if you go to this document, see, you could see that these are the built-in functions. You see, there are so many functions are there. Can you see there's a max, there's a min, there's a map function, filter, float, format, like this. See, so what it says that what I'm trying to do that whenever you're defining any variable, I cannot make use of this name. So I cannot use a variable when a max is equal to 10, max is 100. I cannot make use of this built-in function as a variable name because your Python will throw an error actually, right? So these are all built-in functions. Suppose, for example, you want to understand what is this min actually. See, min means min will give you the minimum value. Like for example, if I say min of 100, 200, 300, you are saying that which is the minimum value out of these three. It will show as 100, right? Similarly, if I have a max value, see, which is the max value? See, oh, maximum is 300. So this is what it is. These are all the built-in functions. What is part of the Python? We will be seeing all these functions later. Okay, so like this. So I cannot So the rule for creating a variable that I cannot make use of any built-in function names as a variable names. I cannot do that. Fine. That's all fine. That is fine. So I understood that. Okay, we should not use the min max or something with a variable name. Fine. What is a module level actually? Module is something like, for example, suppose if I say that actually that, okay, in the module level, like for example, suppose like there is some module by name math actually. Okay, math module actually. What the math module will say, right? Math module will basically say something like that. We have a model actually. Okay, see there are many maths functions are there. I think if you remember, like there are some functions known as a power of function, SQRT, square root of functions, right? There are many functions are there, right? Like that, what happened that there are many mathematical functions are there like this, which are grouped together in a file, and they call this as a model actually. And that model name, they'll give it as a math model actually. Whenever you want to make use of any models, right? How you'll do means how in your program will do, right? In Python, you have to first import that model, and then you need to use that model like this actually. Right? It means that, see what you have to understand that Rajesh, function is something like it's a single function, right? Min is one function, max is one function, ABS is one function, absolute is one function. These are all the functions, single functions. What is a model? Model is something you can say that it's a collection of functions. What are those functions like power of, square root? There are many functions are there which are related to math. Everything combined together, you'll make it as a one single, kind of a package, and you'll give that name for that package or something that we call it as a model. And the name what you're giving is a math actually. And whenever I want to make use of the model within my program, I have to import it actually. Import and specify. Similarly, if you know or not, actually, some of you might know. Now, what happened, right? Whenever I want to communicate, suppose I have an AWS account. This is my AWS actually. This is my AWS account. It means that this is my AWS cloud actually, or Azure cloud. AWS cloud or Azure cloud. Now, whenever I want to communicate, whenever a Python programmer, he's a Python programmer, he want to communicate from your system, from your laptop or from your system or from your Python code, he want to communicate to the AWS account, right? He can communicate with the help of Boto 3 module. So Boto 3 is a model, he has to install it, and he can use those model, Boto 3 model, in your Python code to communicate with your Azure or AWS or GCP, any cloud actually. You say that Rajesh, I want to create some resources. I need to write a Python code where I need to create resource. I need to create a VM. I need to create a storage and all, and I need to create a VPC, virtual private cloud, or nothing but your networking. I want to do many stuff in your cloud through a Python code. How I can do that? Hey, you need to have a Boto 3 model, right? Boto 3 library or model is required, man. Using that, in your Python code, you can do it like that, right? Like for example, assume that Rajesh, one more example, I'll give you the model. Assume that I have a calendar model is there. Calendar model is there. Okay. You will say that, okay, Rajesh, I'll do one thing. I need a information about the first month of, Jan 2021. I need to display it. How to do that? You will just say calendar dot month what is it, sir? 2021, comma 1, something like this. See what it says that? It says that calendar is not defined. It means that first you need to import this model. How you do that? Import, import calendar. See, you imported that model. Now you will say that calendar dot month of 2021, comma 1. See, now it will show you the, what it shows? It shows you the January month's calendar like that. Similarly, there is one more model by name, what is system model actually. System model will give the information about the system. What is the IP address? What is the RAM memory? What is an operating system which is installed in your system? All the information related to your system will be given by the system model. Now, if you say that, Rajesh, if I do a Not system model. I'm sorry. Sorry. It is a platform model. Sorry. Platform model. Sorry. Platform model. Now you say that Rajesh, I want to display the system information. So what you will just say, you'll just say something like platform dot system information. See, it says that it is undefined. It means that first you need to import that platform model, import platform and enter, and then we'll say platform dot system. See, it is saying that actually. Okay, what I did? Okay, I think I did wrong. Like, yeah. See, it is showing this is the Windows machine actually, because you have installed Python in the Windows, right? So that's what it's saying is the Windows machine actually, like this. So this also, guys, you will be learning. So now somebody might ask me, or Chinmay might ask me one question that, Rajesh, if I learn all these functions, built-in functions, all the models and all, will I become a master in Python? Yes, you'll become a master in Python. That's what, sir. Whatever we will be doing, we'll be playing with all these models and built-in functions. Okay, so what you can do that you can go over in the Google and just say Python built-in models actually like this. That you will get plenty of models like this actually. You can go anywhere. Okay, you can get plenty of model informations like this. So Python built-in models. See, these are all Python built-in models are actually. These are all Python built-in models actually. Right here, you can see that he has giving you telling the information of help also. What is this actually help? Suppose like I'm here in the command actually. Now assume that I'll give something like this, help like this. See, it shows me that actually helper, enter the name of the module, key, everything. Okay, what I will do that I will give something like modules like this. See, enter. Now see, it will show me all the built-in modules. See, these are all built-in modules, guys. I'll be using all this built-in model for in my Python. See, these are all. You could see that py install or something like that. Some you'll get some hint actually by seeing all these things. See, I'll be using all these models, sir. Okay, and I will say enter. Okay, you will come out from the help menu. Similarly, what I will do that, even like you cannot make use of the, see, you cannot make use of, for defining any variable, you cannot make use of your built-in functions. You cannot make use of the models. You cannot make even use of the user-defined functions. You cannot make use of while defining a variable. Even you cannot even define any variable by using the keywords also. You know, like for every program, like you have a keywords like if condition, if is there, else is there, you know, right? What is the switch is there, case is there, select is there. Like these are all the built-in keywords actually for each and every programming, right? Even we have a shell script, or in the shell also we have a built-in keywords actually. Those keywords also you cannot make use of in your variables as a variable names, right? Like same thing, I want to display all the variable, all the keywords actually. You could see here something like a, where is it actually? If I do an help again, see, it will show me that enter the name of the model, keyword or topics are keywords actually. See, I'll give keywords. See, keywords. These are all the keywords. I cannot make use of any variable. See, def, class, yes, and, or, pass, raise it. I cannot make use of even these Python keywords also while defining it, because these are all the built-in. I cannot make use of this, right? Like you will say that Rajesh, if I say if is equal to 10, see, you cannot make use of it. Now, suppose if you say that capital I, F, capital I and F, and this also, this is something as a variable, because this capital I is a different, right? It's a case sensitive, right? So Python will understand that this is something like a variable name. But here you cannot define like this actually. Is it clear, guys? I hope you understood whatever I told today, right? So this is how it is. So what we'll do, we'll stop at the session here today, and like we'll continue the next session. We just started with the variables, right? So what we have learned now, we have just learned that what is a rule or what is a regulation you need to follow whenever you are defining any variables. Variables, you can have a uppercase or the lowercase. You should not use a variables names. Okay, by using any built-in functions or module level or even the keywords, you cannot make use of it, right? And the variable names can be having a can have a like a combination of the alphanumerical character also, right? Correct, that's what it is, right? So That's what. So what will be the next class? So next session will be right. We will be continuing with the variables, and we need to understand that what are the different types of variables are there. There are 14 different types of variables are there. We need to understand all these 14 different types of variables. Then only you will be able to proceed further with understanding the further topics of the Python actually. So next session, hopefully, I'll be covering all these 14 types with an example I'll be covering so that we will be able to understand completely like how we can make use of the variables in our program actually. Then slowly we'll get into many other things like we'll be learning about the programming constructs, modules, built-in and all, right? Those functions and all we will be covering up later stages. So is it clear, guys? Any doubt you have? No? Fine. No. Okay. So we'll stop the session. Let me stop the session.